Hello guys and welcome back to TNT Madness. Today we're going to be having a brief look at how effective cobweb walls are, because some people seem to quite like them and some people don't seem to like them, so I'm just going to have a brief look at them by doing some actual testing and some actual cannoning. So I knew quite a bit about cobwebs before, but I just wanted to verify half the stuff by just doing some testing. So what we have here is what people call like a cobweb tray, where it's essentially just a wall of cobwebs. So you'd either have it something like this, which is actually more effective after I realized than having this and then like a wall behind it, because this pretty much doesn't do too much, which I'll get to in a second. So we got one of these trays and then we got this behind it, which essentially means that it'll either mean that the TNT will be caught inside here, so it'll work like a wall and then it'll get caught inside this, or it may go slightly through and it may go down, or it'll may hit the front of here and go down, or else it'll just go straight through. So the first thing that happens is, one thing I learned is TNT and sand is pretty much the same. Like in terms of when they're flying, they're both falling sand entities, so they essentially have the same velocity. So they're both essentially affected the same way by TNT, so they act essentially the same. So you'll get what I mean by in a second. So this is essentially just a giant propellant cannon. It has an absolutely ton of TNT. It's got 72 firing over here because it's got 6x6 on this side, 6x6 on this side, and the compression system. So if we go ahead and fire it off, we can see that this is going to fire forward, and then as you can see it fires straight through the cobweb. So as you can see, it pretty much acted like this was just thin air. So what I tried next is I tried just using it with a very basic cannon. So a cannon that would barely even reach the end of this. So luckily, however, when we do fire this, after we fire it, it will actually get caught. And as you can see, it did get caught. It actually nearly went through though, but as you can see, it got caught. So that's good and bad, but cobwebs are mostly useless, and I'm going to explain why. So pretty much cobwebs are really only useful for slowing down TNT, but the main issue with it is, even if you make trays where you have water and then a cobweb wall and then water and then another cobweb wall, if your TNT gets stuck, which is really the only useful way I can see of using a cobweb wall, it is going to just blow up the cobwebs anyway. So that is a massive issue, because that means they can just shoot for it anyway, like it's literally not even there, like just it's a normal wall but a lot weaker. But the biggest thing is, when you normally are destroying walls, you are using an absolutely massive cannon. So let's say like a 40 stack or a 100 stack or even a 231 shot. You're going to be using a ton of TNT. You'll be using hundreds of blocks of TNT, or maybe even 200. And you could have 20 pairs, 20 of these lined up in one row, and this would just go straight through it like it was thin air. So there'd be absolutely no point in having it there. So that's pretty much all this is pretty much just debunking the myth that cobweb walls are actually useful. I have done a bit of testing and I can't honestly see any way that you could use cobweb walls for good. If anyone has any bright ideas of how you could use cobwebs, then please tell me in the comments below. I'll look at your comments and go through them anyway. But that's pretty much all I wanted to debunk today, because there are very limited uses for cobweb walls. One of them would be something like an anti-nuclear wall, but even then they are pretty useless. So anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Sorry if it's a shorter one. I'm going to be redoing my setup soon, because I've got a new mic and I've got new graphics and stuff that I've done. So I'm going to be working really hard on videos after this. But anyway, goodbye from TNT.